The accidental reveal. Captain Sarah Chen of the human freighter Lucky Star squinted at the flashing red warning on her console. The ship's experimental FTL drive was acting up again, and they were less than an hour from the drop-off point in the Proxima Centauri system. She sighed, running a hand through her short, dark hair. "Zach, what's the status on that drive?" She called out to her engineer. Zach's voice crackled over the intercom, tinged with frustration. "It's like trying to wrangle a quantum cat, Cap. 1 minute it's purring. The next it's ready to tear a hole in space-time." Sarah chuckled despite the tension. "Just keep it together for another hour. All right. Last thing we need is tow." Her words were cut off as the ship lurched violently. The stars outside the view screen blurred into streaks of light, and Sarah's stomach dropped as if she were on a roller coaster. "Zach," she yelled, gripping her chair. "What the hell is happening?" "The drive's gone haywire," Zach shouted back. "It's activating on its own. I can't shut it down." Sarah's mind raced. They were about to make an unscheduled FTL jump in the busiest trading lane of the galaxy. If they collided with another ship at these speeds, all hands, brace for impact. She ordered, hoping against hope that they'd emerge from this jump in one piece. The Lucky Star vanished in a flash of blue light, leaving behind a very confused Proxima Centauri traffic control and a rapidly expanding sphere of subspace distortion. Light years away on the Galactic Council science vessel, Curiosity's Ember, senior researcher Zixel was about to end another uneventful shift. The Arcturian scientist's tentacles moved lazily across the sensor controls, performing one last sweep of the sector before heading to the relaxation chambers. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. Zixel's bioluminescent patches flashed bright orange in surprise. "Impossible," Zixel muttered, all four eyes wide as they stared at the readout. "Captain Lorne Tack, you need to see this." The ship's Thoraxian captain lumbered over, his exoskeleton clicking against the metal floor. "What is it, researcher Zixel? Another space whale mating ritual?" "No, sir," Zixel replied, tentacles trembling with excitement. "We've just detected an energy signature unlike anything in our databases. It appears to be faster than light travel, but on a scale that shouldn't be possible for centuries." Captain Lorne Tack's mandibles clicked rapidly, the Thoraxian equivalent of a dismissive snort. "Nonsense. The most advanced FTL drive in the galaxy belongs to the Qualaxi, and even they can't achieve speeds like that." As if on cue, a ship blinked into existence on their view screen. It was small, utilitarian, and completely unremarkable, save for the fact that it had just performed an FTL jump that defied the laws of physics as the galaxy understood them. "By the first egg," Captain Lorne Tack whispered. "What is that?" Zixel's tentacles flew across the controls, scanning the mysterious vessel. "It appears to be human, Captain. Human." Lorne Tack's compound eyes narrowed. "Impossible. They're a primitive species, barely out of their solar system. They don't even have a seat on the Galactic Council." Inside the Lucky Star, alarms were blaring, and the air smelled of ozone and burnt circuitry. Sarah picked herself up off the floor, her head spinning. "Status report," she called out, stumbling to her console. "We're alive, which is the good news," Zach's voice came through, punctuated by coughs. "Bad news is, I have no idea where we are, and the drive's fried." Sarah pulled up the star charts and felt her blood run cold. They were deep in uncharted space, far beyond any known human outpost. Captain." Her sensor operator, Lai, called out. "We've got company. Alien vessel, about 2 clicks out. They're hailing us." Sarah straightened her uniform and took a deep breath. First contact situations were above her pay grade, but it didn't look like she had much choice. "Open a channel," she ordered. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a bridge that looked like something out of a fever dream. Tentacled creatures worked alongside insectoid beings, all staring at her with a mixture of curiosity and disbelief. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth merchant vessel Lucky Star," she said, hoping her voice didn't betray her nervousness. "We've seem to have had a bit of navigational trouble. Any chance you folks could point us towards the Milky Way?" The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, the insectoid creature that seemed to be in charge spoke, its words translated by some unseen device. "I am Captain Lorntak of the Galactic Council science vessel, Curiosity's Ember. Human, do you realize what you've just done?" Sarah glanced at her crew, then back at the alien captain. "Made a bit of a mess of our delivery schedule." A sound erupted from the alien bridge that Sarah realized, with a start, was laughter. The tentacled being stepped forward. "Captain Chen, I am Senior Researcher Zixel. You've just performed an FTL jump that should be impossible by any known laws of physics. May we inquire about the nature of your propulsion system?" Sarah's mind raced. The experimental drive was classified tech, not meant for alien eyes. But they were stuck here, in need of help, and these aliens had already seen what it could do. "Tell you what," she said, an idea forming. "How about we discuss this over a cup of coffee? I'm sure we've both got a lot of questions." The aliens looked at each other, clearly confused. "Coffee?" Lorntak asked. Sarah grinned. "Oh, you're in for a treat. It's a human delicacy. Helps us think faster, work harder, and apparently break the laws of physics. Why don't you dock with us, and we'll give you a taste of human hospitality." As the alien ship maneuvered to dock with the Lucky Star, Sarah turned to her crew. "All right, people. Looks like we're about to put on the greatest show in the galaxy. Zach, see if you can get that drive looking a little less broken. Lie, dig up every scrap of human history and culture we've got in the databanks. And somebody find me the good coffee, not that synthesized stuff." The crew scrambled to action, energized despite their recent ordeal. As Sarah watched the alien ship grow larger in the view screen, she couldn't shake the feeling that this little accident was about to change everything. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that at that very moment, a distress call from the Lucky Star was reaching a hidden outpost at the edge of human space, and deep within that outpost, something vast and powerful was stirring to life. The accidental reveal was just the beginning. Humanity's best-kept secret was about to burst onto the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. Galactic chaos erupts. The Galactic Hub, a massive space station at the heart of the Milky Way, was usually a model of efficiency and decorum. Today, it was in utter chaos. Jexcor, a Coloxy information broker, slithered through the crowded corridors, his gelatinous body pulsing with excitement. In all his cycles, he'd never seen anything like this. His communication tendrils quivered as he absorbed the panicked chatter around him. "Humans have a fleet, faster than light travel beyond anything we've seen. Hiding in plain sight all this time." He paused at a view screen, where a tentacled Arcturian was frantically tapping controls. The screen flickered to life, showing grainy footage of hundreds of sleek, dart-like ships emerging from what appeared to be empty space. "By the cosmic egg," Jexcor whispered, his translucent skin flushing with a mix of fear and awe. "It's true." The footage had been captured by a Saurian scout ship on a routine patrol near the human-claimed system of Ta Ceti. What should have been empty space had suddenly shimmered, revealing a massive shipyard orbiting a brown dwarf star. The ships pouring out of the hidden facility made the most advanced Coloxy vessels look like children's toys. As Jexicor watched, the screen split to show various news feeds from across the galaxy. On one, a Felician anchor was mid-yell. "Markets across 17 sectors have crashed. Military contractors are scrambling to secure funding for new research and development. The galactic credit has plummeted against the human dollar, which some are now calling the new standard for interstellar trade." Another feed showed a Thoraxian political pundit, mandibles clicking furiously. "We've been deceived. The humans claim to be a young, peaceful species, but they've been building a war fleet under our mandibles. I call for immediate sanctions, and..." The pundit's words were cut off as the feed switched to a press conference on Earth. A harried-looking human in a suit stood at a podium, cameras flashing. "My fellow citizens of Earth and the galaxy at large," the man began, his voice steadied despite the chaos around him. "I am President Chen Wei of the United Earth Government. In light of recent events, I will be making a brief statement." Jexkor leaned closer, his body rippling with anticipation. "For decades, humanity has worked tirelessly to advance our understanding of the universe," President Chen continued. "Our breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel and other technologies have been the result of human ingenuity, determination, and a spirit of cosmic exploration. We chose to keep these advancements secret not out of malice, but out of a desire to fully understand their implications before sharing them with the galaxy." The president paused, taking a sip of water. Jexkor noticed the man's hand trembling slightly. "We now stand at a crossroads. Humanity is prepared to share our knowledge and work alongside our galactic neighbors for the betterment of all sentient life. We extend an open invitation to the Galactic Council for peaceful dialogue." And suddenly, the feed cut out. A moment later, it returned, showing the president looking off-camera with a mixture of confusion and dismay. An aide rushed to his side, whispering urgently in his ear. The president's eyes widened, and he turned back to the camera. "I've just been informed that our hidden shipyard near Ta City has been compromised," he said, his composure cracking. "To those responsible for this breach, I urge you to consider the consequences of your actions. To our galactic neighbors, I assure you that our intentions are peaceful, despite what this revelation might suggest. We are prepared to." The president's words were drowned out by a cacophony of shouted questions from the press. As aides rushed to usher him away from the podium, the camera caught a clear shot of the president facepalming in exasperation. The feed cut back to the Galactic Hub, where a panel of experts from various species was already assembling to discuss the implications of humanity's hidden fleet. Jexkor slithered away from the view screen, his mind racing. This was the story of a lifetime, and he knew exactly who to sell it to. As he made his way to a secure communication booth, he passed a group of Saurians engaged in heated debate. "Always knew there was something off about those humans," one was saying, tail-lashing. "Remember that incident on Rigel VI? No primitive species could have repelled a Zixithar incursion so easily." "Fools, all of you," another replied. "The signs were there all along. Their fiction about faster-than-light travel, their rapid advancement in just a few centuries. We should have seen it coming." In another corner, a group of Felicians were huddled around a datapad, watching a video that was quickly going viral across the galactic net. It showed security camera footage from a human space station, where a group of aliens had been caught trying to steal technology. Instead of advanced weapons or shields, they were seen absconding with a coffee maker. "What is this coffee?" One Felician mewed. Could it be the source of their power? Jexkor chuckled to himself as he reached the communication booth. Typical Felician curiosity. He had a feeling that human coffee imports were about to skyrocket. As he prepared to make his call, a commotion near the hub's central chamber caught his attention. A group of humans, clearly diplomats based on their attire, were being escorted by a phalanx of security drones. The crowd parted before them, a mixture of fear and awe on alien faces. One of the humans, a tall woman with silver hair, stopped to address the crowd. "We come in peace," she said, her voice amplified by some unseen technology. "Humanity seeks friendship, not domination. We invite all species to join us in ushering a new era of galactic cooperation and discovery." Her words were met with a mixture of cheers, jeers, and confused murmurs. As the human delegation continued on its way, Jexkor could feel the air thrumming with tension and excitement. He slithered into the booth and activated the secure line. It was time to call in some favors and get to the bottom of this story. As he waited for the connection, he reflected on the chaos unfolding around him. The galaxy had always seen humans as a quaint, somewhat primitive species, barely out of their own solar system. Now, in the span of a few hours, that perception had been shattered. Humanity had revealed itself to be a technological powerhouse, with a hidden fleet that could reshape the balance of power in the Milky Way. Whatever happened next, Jexcor knew one thing for certain. The age of human obscurity was over. For better or worse, the galaxy would never be the same. As his call connected, he took a deep breath, or the Qualoxy equivalent, and prepared to dive into the biggest story of his career. The human revelation was just the beginning. The real chaos was yet to come. Operation First Light. The United Earth government's crisis room was a hive of activity. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the galaxy, while AI assistants processed millions of data points per second. At the center of it all stood Admiral Zara Vega, her dark eyes scanning the room with a mixture of determination and barely concealed excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," she addressed the assembled group of military and civilian leaders. "It's time to execute Operation First Light." A murmur ran through the room. They'd been preparing for this moment for years, but now that it was here, the magnitude of what they were about to do was almost overwhelming. As we speak, our FTL fleet is preparing to launch simultaneous diplomatic missions to every known sentient world in the galaxy, Admiral Vega continued. Each ship will carry a diverse crew, showcasing the best of humanity. Our goal is simple: to demonstrate our capabilities, extend the hand of friendship, and secure our place in the galactic community. She paused, allowing her words to sink in. Make no mistake, this is the most ambitious diplomatic initiative in human history. The next 48 hours will determine humanity's future among the stars. Any questions? A young diplomat raised her hand. "Admiral, what if we're met with hostility?" Admiral Vega's lips curled into a small smile. "That, Ms. Chen, is where things get interesting." Aboard the UES Curiosity, Captain Aidan Morrow checked his reflection in a polished bulkhead. The dress uniform felt stiff and formal, a far cry from his usual attire. But today was special. Today, they were making history. "Captain to the bridge," the ship's AI announced. "We're approaching the Saurian homeworld." Aidan straightened his collar and strode onto the bridge. His crew, a carefully selected group representing Earth's diversity, stood at attention. "At ease," he said, taking his seat. "Let's make first contact." Again, the Curiosity dropped out of FTL on the edge of the Saurian system. Almost immediately, their comms lit up with incoming transmissions. "They don't sound happy," Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka reported from the communication station. "Lots of hissing and tail slapping." Aidan nodded. "Open a channel. Let's see if we can calm them down." The view screen flickered to life, revealing the Saurian War Council. The reptilian alien scales were flushed with angry colors, their tails lashing back and forth. "Greetings, noble Saurians," Aidan began, activating the universal translator. "I am Captain Aidan Morrow of the United Earth Government. We come in peace and friendship." The lead Saurian, adorned with intricate battle scars, leaned forward. "Peace. You hide a war fleet for decades and then claim to come in peace. Prove your worth, humans, or leave our system immediately." Aidan exchanged glances with his first officer, Commander Zara Ibrahim. They'd prepared for this possibility. "Very well," Aidan said, standing up. "I formally request the right of Kestraka." The Saurian War Council fell silent, their eyes widening in shock. You know of the Kestraka?" the lead Saurian sputtered. Aidan allowed himself a small smile. "We've done our homework. I and my chosen champions will face your greatest warriors in ritual combat. If we prove our worth, you'll hear us out." "Agreed." After a moment of stunned silence, the Saurians erupted in a chorus of hisses and tail slaps, their equivalent of applause. "Agreed, human. Prepare for combat." As the transmission ended, Commander Ibrahim turned to Aidan. "Sir, are you sure about this? Saurian ritual combat is notoriously brutal." Aidan's grin widened. That's why we brought along our secret weapon. Lieutenant Ortiz, time to earn your combat pay. Halfway across the galaxy, the UES Harmony approached the homeworld of the Felicians, a feline-like species known for their grace, curiosity, and hair-trigger tempers. Captain Lian Zhao stood in the ship's atrium, surrounded by her crew and an eclectic mix of Earth's flora and fauna. A pair of cats, actual, Earth-born felines, wound their way between her legs, purring contentedly. Remember, she addressed her team, the Felicians value beauty, curiosity, and agility. Let's show them that humanity possesses all three in abundance. As they entered orbit, the ship's sensors detected a flurry of activity on the planet's surface. Captain, the science officer reported, it appears the Felicians are throwing a party. Lian raised an eyebrow. Well, that's unexpected. Let's not keep our hosts waiting. The landing party materialized in the midst of a raucous celebration. Felicians of all colors and patterns danced and leaped around them, their fur shimmering under the light of 3 moons. An elegantly adorned Felician approached, his whiskers twitching with curiosity. Welcome, humans. We've been eagerly awaiting your arrival. I am High Counselor Nairo. Lian bowed deeply. High Counselor, we're honored by your welcome. I must admit, we expected a somewhat cooler reception. Nairo's tail swished in amusement. Oh, we were plenty angry at first, but then we got to thinking. Any species clever enough to hide such advancements must have so many wonderful things to share. Tell me, did you bring any of that coffee we've heard so much about? Before Lian could respond, a commotion erupted at the edge of the gathering. A group of Felicians in dark cloaks were pushing their way through the crowd, heading straight for the human delegation. Assassins, someone yelled. Protect the humans. Time seemed to slow down. Lian saw the glint of a weapon being drawn. Her hand moved towards her own sidearm, but she knew she'd be too slow. Suddenly, a red dot appeared on the lead assassin's chest. The Felician's eyes went wide, following the dot as it danced across his body. In a matter of seconds, the would-be killer was rolling on the ground, batting at the elusive light like an oversized kitten. Lian turned to see Lieutenant Commander Chen, the ship's tactical officer, calmly pointing a small laser pointer at the incapacitated assassins. High Counselor Mayaro stared in awe. By the whiskers of fate, what manner of weapon is this? Lian couldn't help but laugh. Not a weapon, High Counselor. Just a toy we use to entertain our feline friends back on Earth. Speaking of which, she gestured, and one of her crew members stepped forward, cradling the 2 Earth cats. The Felician's eyes went wide with wonder. Minyaro reached out a paw, gently stroking one of the cats. It purred loudly, causing a ripple of delighted mews to spread through the crowd. Captain Zhao, Namiro said, his eyes shining. I believe this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Back in the UEG crisis room, Admiral Vega watched as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The Saurians, impressed by humanity's victory in ritual combat, had agreed to full diplomatic relations. The Felicians were already discussing cultural exchange programs. Even the notoriously xenophobic Coloxy had grudgingly admitted that humans might have some interesting ideas to offer. Not every encounter was going smoothly, of course. The Thoraxians were still demanding sanctions, and the Zexthar Concordat was ominously silent. But overall, Operation First Light was proceeding better than anyone had dared to hope. Admiral Vega allowed herself a moment of pride. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, not with brute force, but with diplomacy, adaptability, and more than a little audacity. They'd faced the chaos they'd unleashed and turned it into opportunity. As she turned back to the holomap, watching the network of human diplomatic missions expand across the galaxy, Admiral Vega knew one thing for certain. The light of humanity was shining across the stars, and its brilliance was only beginning to be revealed. The Gamma Quadrant Gambit. The mood in the United Earth Government's Strategic Command Center was tense. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the galaxy, most of it reassuring. But one sector of the star map pulsed an ominous red. Fleet Admiral Kenzo Nakamura studied the display with narrowed eyes. "The Gamma Quadrant is too quiet," he mused, his weathered face creased with concern. Colonel Aisha Okafor, head of Earth's Intelligence Division, nodded in agreement. "Our deep space probes have detected unusual activity near the Zixathar border. Multiple fleets converging, communications blackouts, classic signs of an impending offensive." Nakamura sighed. They'd hoped for more time, but it seemed the more militant factions of the galaxy weren't willing to accept humanity's new status quo. "Recommendations." Okafor's eyes gleamed. "I think it's time we unveiled Project Trojan, sir." Nakamura raised an eyebrow. "The Council hasn't authorized." A priority alert cut him off. The main screen flared to life, showing a harried-looking officer. "Admiral, multiple Zixathar battle groups have just dropped out of FTL near Jupiter's orbit. They're on an attack vector for Earth." Nakamura's decision was instant. Initiate Project Trojan, and get me a direct line to the Zixathar fleet. As the command center erupted into controlled chaos, Nakamura allowed himself a grim smile. The Zixathar were in for one hell of a surprise. Arch-Commander Kazikva of the Zixathar Concordat stood on the bridge of his dreadnought, mandibles clicking in anticipation. The view screen showed the blue-green orb of Earth growing larger by the second. "Status report," he chittered to his second-in-command. "No sign of the human fleet, Arch-Commander. Their home system appears to be undefended." Kazikva's compound eyes glittered. "Excellent. These primitives thought they could upset the balance of power with their hidden toys. We'll show them the folly of their—" "Incoming transmission from the humans," his communications officer interrupted. Kazikva waved a clawed appendage. "Ignore it. Prepare to fire." The view screen flickered to life unbidden, revealing a stern-faced human in a military uniform. "This is Fleet Admiral Kenzo Nakamura of Earth. Zixathar Fleet, you are in violation of Galactic Council peace accords. Withdraw immediately, or we will be forced to defend ourselves." Kazikva chittered in amusement. Bold words for a defenseless world. "Your hidden fleet is light years away, human. Surrender now, and we may spare your cities." Nakamura's expression didn't change. "You were warned." The transmission cut off. Kazikva turned to his weapons officer. "Enough games. Target their largest population centers and—" "Arch-Commander," his sensor operator shrieked. Massive energy spike detected. The bridge view screen flashed white. When it cleared, Kazikva's mandibles went slack with shock. Where Jupiter's moon Europa had been, there was now something else. A massive structure, easily the size of a small moon, bristling with weaponry and crackling with energy fields. "By the first hive," Kazikva whispered. "What is that?" Inside Fortress Europa, as the humans had dubbed it, Captain Zara Ibrahim allowed herself a moment of pride. Years of secret construction, hidden beneath the icy surface of Jupiter's moon, had paid off. The looks of shock on the Zixathar faces were priceless. "All systems online," her XO reported. "Weapon batteries charged and ready." Zara nodded. "Open a channel to the Zixathar flagship." The insectoid face of Arch-Commander Kazikva appeared on screen, mandibles twitching nervously. "This is your final warning," Zara said, her voice cold. "Withdraw now, or be destroyed." Kazikva's compound eyes darted back and forth. You can't. This violates all Galactic Council protocols. A weapon of this size." Zara cut him off. "Is perfectly legal when used for system defense. Check your treaties, Arch-Commander." "Now, are you leaving, or do I need to demonstrate the station's capabilities?" For a moment, it seemed Kazikva might back down. Then his mandibles clicked in defiance. "The Zixathar Concordat does not yield. All ships, attack pattern Omega, overwhelmed their defenses." Zara sighed. "Have it your way." She turned to her weapons officer. Target their lead ships. Low power, if you please. We don't want to vaporize them. Yet. Fortress Europa's main cannon, a marvel of human engineering and reverse-engineered alien tech, hummed to life. A beam of coherent energy lanced out, slicing through the HFY fleet's front line like a hot knife through butter. Ships sparked and spun out of control, their systems overloaded but their crews largely unharmed. On the view screen, HFY's eyes widened in horror. Fall back. All ships, emergency retreat. Zara allowed herself a small smile as she watched the HFY fleet scramble to escape. Hold fire, she ordered. Let them run. As the last HFY ship winked into FTL, Admiral Nakamura's face appeared on the main screen. Well done, Captain Ibrahim. I think we've made our point. Zara nodded. Thank you, sir. But won't this escalate tensions with the rest of the galaxy? Nakamura's expression was grim. Undoubtedly. But it will also make them think twice before attacking Earth or her allies. Sometimes, peace must be secured through strength. News of the Gamma Quadrant Gambit, as the media was calling it, spread across the galaxy at FTL speeds. The reaction was immediate and varied. On the Galactic hub, the council chambers were in an uproar. Species that had been wary of humanity's hidden fleet were now downright terrified of their defensive capabilities. Jexcor, the Galaxy information broker, was having the busiest day of his career. First, a hidden fleet, he burbled to a group of eager listeners. And now a battle station the size of a moon. What else are these humans hiding? In the Saurian Empire, the War Council watched footage of the battle with a mixture of awe and respect. Perhaps, the Saurian Emperor mused, it is time we reconsidered our position on human membership in the Galactic Defense Pact. The Felician High Council was more pragmatic. If the humans can turn a moon into a weapon, High Counselor Manuro purred, imagine what they could do for orbital entertainment complexes. We must secure an exclusive technology sharing agreement at once. But not all reactions were positive. In the shadowy chambers of the HFY Concordat's inner sanctum, Arch-Commander HFY faced his superiors. You have failed us, HFY. The Hive Queen chittered. But your failure has brought us valuable information. These humans are more dangerous than we imagined. We must find a way to neutralize them permanently. As the Hive Queen spoke, a hologram flickered to life, showing schematics of Fortress Europa. In the shadows behind the HFY leadership, a figure watched silently. Its form was humanoid, but definitely not human. The figure touched a communicator hidden beneath its cloak. The HFY took the bait. It subvocalized. Fortress Europa's existence is now known to the galaxy, awaiting further instructions. Across the vast distances of space, in a hidden facility on Mars, a reply came. Well done, Agent Sigma. Maintain your cover. Phase 2 of Operation Cosmic Chess begins now. As the spy signed off, Admiral Nakamura stared out at the red Martian landscape. The Gamma Quadrant Gambit had been a success, but it was only the opening move in a much larger game. Humanity had revealed one of its greatest secrets to the galaxy, but many more remained hidden. The true test was yet to come, and Earth would be ready. Humanity's cosmic carnival. The space around Earth was a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes. Ships of all sizes and designs, representing every known sentient species in the galaxy, filled the orbital lanes. On the planet's surface, in the sprawling metropolis of New Geneva, final preparations were underway for an event unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Zara Vega stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed orbital spire, watching the controlled chaos with a mixture of pride and nervous energy. Status report, she said to her AI assistant. All systems are go. Admiral, the AI responded. The cosmic carnival is ready to begin on your mark. Zara took a deep breath. After the tensions of the Gamma Quadrant Gambit, humanity had decided to take a different approach. Instead of flexing their military might, they would showcase their creativity, their spirit of innovation, and their ability to bring people together. The result: humanity's cosmic carnival, a galaxy-wide celebration of unity and discovery. "Very well," Zora said. "Let's make history again." As the official start time approached, beings from across the galaxy gathered in designated areas, each specially designed to cater to different physiologies and environmental needs. The air buzzed with excitement and more than a little apprehension. In the Saurian sector, Ambassador Kazoth flicked his tongue nervously. "I still don't trust these humans," he hissed to his aide. "What if this is all an elaborate trap?" Before the aide could respond, a holographic image flickered to life in the center of the room. It showed a human woman with dark skin and a warm smile. "Greetings, citizens of the galaxy," she said, her words automatically translated for each species. "I am Dr. Amara Okafor, Chief Scientist of the United Earth Government. On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to our home and to the first annual Cosmic Carnival." The hologram expanded, showing a three-dimensional map of Earth and its surrounding space. "Over the next 48 hours, you will witness feats of science, artistry, and human spirit that we hope will inspire wonder and foster understanding between all our peoples. Let the carnival begin." As if on cue, the sky above New Geneva lit up with a spectacular display of fireworks. But these were unlike any fireworks the aliens had seen before. The explosions formed complex, three-dimensional patterns that shifted and morphed, telling the story of Earth's history and its journey to the stars. In the Felician viewing area, High Counselor Mayero's eyes widened in wonder. "How are they doing that?" he mewed. A human guide smiled. "Nanite swarms controlled by AI. Counselor, each firework is actually thousands of tiny robots working in perfect harmony." Mayero's tail swished in excitement. "Fascinating. And you use this technology for entertainment?" The guide's smile widened. "Among other things. If you think that's impressive, wait until you see the Zero-G ballet." As the carnival progressed, each event seemed to outdo the last in spectacle and innovation. In low Earth orbit, a troupe of human acrobats performed an intricate ballet, their movements guided by personal gravity manipulators. They danced among the stars, weaving between satellites and space stations with breathtaking grace. On the surface, in a massive amphitheater, the greatest minds from Earth and beyond engaged in the Galileo debates, tackling the universe's greatest mysteries. Humans and aliens alike watched in awe as holographic models of galaxies, quantum realms, and alternate dimensions sprung to life, illustrating complex theories with stunning clarity. But it was the FTL Racing League that truly captured the galaxy's imagination. Pilots from a dozen species competed in sleek, single-person craft, racing along a course that stretched from Earth to Alpha Centauri and back. The humans, to everyone's surprise, didn't dominate the competition. Instead, they delighted in the friendly rivalry, cheering on aliens who outperformed them. In the VIP viewing lounge, Jexcor, the Qualaxi information broker, undulated with excitement. "Did you see that?" he burbled to his companion, a stoic Thoraxian diplomat. "The Saurian pilot just beat the human world champion." The Thoraxian clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. "Indeed. It seems the humans are not invincible after all." Jexcor's gelatinous form rippled with amusement. "Oh, my dear friend, you're missing the point entirely. The humans could have easily won every event, but they chose to make this a true competition. They're showing us that they want to be part of the galactic community, not rule over it." The Thoraxian's compound eyes blinked in surprise. "That's a rather astute observation. I'm not just a pretty blob of goo," Jexcor quipped. "Now let's go try some of that cotton candy I've heard so much about. I hear it does wonderful things to one's sensory tentacles." As the carnival entered its final hours, Dr. Amara Okafor took the stage for the event's grand final. The amphitheater was packed with beings from across the galaxy, all eagerly awaiting the promised revelation. Friends, neighbors, fellow explorers of the cosmic ocean, Amara began, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. "We've shown you many wonders over the past 2 days, but perhaps you've been wondering, what is the secret behind humanity's rapid advancement? How did we achieve what we have in such a short time?" A ripple of anticipation ran through the audience. Amara smiled. "The answer is both simple and complex. It lies not in any single technology or breakthrough, but in the very essence of what makes us human. Our secret weapons are curiosity, creativity, and above all, cooperation." With a gesture, she brought up a holographic display showing the history of human scientific advancement. Time and again, our greatest leaps forward came not from lone geniuses, but from collaboration. From teams of diverse individuals, each bringing their unique perspectives and skills to bear on a problem. The display shifted, showing the early days of the human FTL program. When we reverse-engineered our first alien spacecraft, we didn't just put engineers on the job. We brought in artists to imagine new possibilities, biologists to study the organic components, even science fiction writers to dream up potential applications. A murmur of understanding rippled through the crowd. "But our greatest collaborations," Amara continued, "have been with you. Every trade agreement, every cultural exchange, every diplomatic mission has taught us something new. We've taken what we've learned from the galaxy and combined it with our own unique human perspective." She paused, looking out over the sea of alien faces. "And that is why we've brought you all here today. Because we believe that the next great leap forward, for all of us, will come not from competition, but from cooperation on a galactic scale." With another gesture, Amara brought up a new hologram. It showed a massive space station, unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. "I present to you the Crucible, a neutral scientific outpost to be built and staffed by every willing species in the galaxy. A place where we can combine our knowledge, challenge our assumptions, and push the boundaries of what's possible." The audience erupted in a cacophony of excited chitters, roars, and whistles. As Amara began to outline the details of the Crucible project, a small group gathered in a hidden room deep beneath the amphitheater. Admiral Vega, now joined by the leaders of Earth's shadow government, watched the proceedings on a private feed. "It's working better than we could have hoped," one of them said. "The galaxy is eating out of our hands." Admiral Vega frowned. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is just the beginning." Another member spoke up. "What about the signal? The one from beyond the galactic rim?" Vega's expression turned grim. "It's still there, getting stronger every day. Whatever it is, it's coming." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The cosmic carnival had been a resounding success, but it was also a cover, a way to unite the galaxy under human leadership without raising suspicions, because humanity knew something the rest of the galaxy didn't. A storm was coming, and only together did they stand a chance of weathering it. As if on cue, an alert flashed on Vega's personal comm device. She read it, her face paling slightly. "It's time," she said to the group. "Send out the call. Operation Sentinel begins now." In the amphitheater above, oblivious to the machinations below, the assembled beings of the galaxy cheered as Amara Okafor outlined a bright future of cooperation and discovery. The age of isolation was over. The true age of humanity had begun, and somewhere, in the vast darkness between galaxies, something stirred, its attention drawn to the sudden flare of activity in a previously quiet sector of space. The game was afoot, and the stakes were higher than anyone could imagine.